Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, this is insane. I honestly can't believe I'm up here. Like, if you told me a year ago that I'd be on stage at the first ever AxieCon talking about Axie, I would have thought you were crazy. So, cool. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about App.axie and the future of the marketplace. But real quick, before I get into that, if you don't know who I am, I'm Jeff. I'm one of 3 Jeffs, I think, at Sky Mavis. Some of you might know me as Shade if you hang around the Discord or the Twitter. And at Sky Mavis, I lead product on the marketplace and this new thing we're calling App.axie. Yeah. So my claim to fame, by the way, is I invented the triple aqua build in the Origin Alpha. Super broken. I beat Jiho on stream, in April with it, but it has since been nerfed. But I invented that. Cool. So before I jump in, I want to talk a little bit about the history of the marketplace, right? In 2018, this was our marketplace. It was a fork of the CryptoKitties marketplace, I think. This is way before my time, so I'm really unfamiliar with it. Only the OGs will remember this. At the end of 2019, we built our own marketplace. If you joined last year or recently, you are familiar with this. You spent a lot of time on this like I did. And this was designed by my boss, Leo, and developed by Bean, 2 OGs. Actually, 2 probably the most underappreciated employees at Sky Mavis. So shout outs to them. Yeah. Wish they could be here, man. Yeah. I joined in 2021, and we started shipping things, right? The marketplace team was very small back then. There wasn't even really a marketplace team. And since then, many incremental updates. This is a design that we shipped in 2022, and visual refresh. We started planting the seeds of bigger things coming with this design. And then today, a few days ago, we released App.axie v1. This was a huge, huge milestone, right? Yeah. Huge milestone. It's been in the works for a long time. A lot of amazing new improvements. And it might not seem like much. It might seem like just a cosmetic upgrade, but there's a lot going on under the hood, which I'll talk about. We rewrote the entire front end. It's using our new design system called Dango. We switched the URL from marketplace.axieinfinity to app.axieinfinity.com because we felt like it encompassed more of our vision. You can see recessive genes now. One of the most requested features. Shout outs to Freak, by the way. He's here somewhere. He brought us this far. Yeah, Freak is a legend. He brought us this far, and we're carrying the torch. And much more. But what is App.axie, right? It's not only a refresh, like I said. It's a lot of new features. But fundamentally, it's a shift in the way that we think about the marketplace and the web app experience. It's a homepage. It's a dashboard. It's a central hub of all things Axie and Axie community. In a way, I like to think of App.axie. App.axie is Axie Infinity in a way. And the name comes from the URL. Early on, I said App.axie, just to be short and brief, and it just stuck on. So we're calling it App.axie. The goals of App.axie. The first one, we want to bring industry-leading onboarding and education to our web app. We want to streamline onboarding. Today, it's very clunky. You got to go through multiple different websites. You got to download extensions and things like that. And it could be a lot better. We have a unique advantage at Sky Mavis in that we built the blockchain that Axie is running on. We own the distribution on Mavis Hub. And so we can own the user experience end to end. And that leads into the onboarding. We want to make it easier for people to learn how to play Axie Infinity. And App.axie is a highly visited web page, and that is a beautiful surface to put some education, user education. How do I learn about breeding? How do I learn about the Axie parts? Everything about the community. Right now, today, there's a lot of friction, and that friction doesn't need to be there. Grow with the community. The community is growing in so many different ways, right? We have a lot of new player archetypes popping up all the time. We have collectors, competitive players, esports players, artists, streamers, breeders, content creators. And we need to build a platform for all of them, not just people buying Axies or breeding. We want to be a home to all Axie games, whether it's made by Sky Mavis, a third party, or the community. We want to build a scalable platform that can support all these games, all their assets, collections, and things like that. We want to encourage interaction with the ecosystem. We want to encourage more than just money making and profit. Axie Infinity is also about collecting, competition, and community. And I want to use App.axie to help strengthen the bonds with our Axies. This one's a little bit of a personal goal, but I want to be the best marketplace in Web3. It's important for us to build the best marketplace for Axie Infinity, but at the same time, I think we have a really good opportunity here. And finally, a major goal is to lay the foundation for Mavis Hub. I'll talk about this a little bit more later. Cool. So jumping into the vision. What does this vision look like? What's on the roadmap? I'm going to highlight some of the upcoming things here. And quick disclaimer, development is tough. Things change. Things change based on community needs and dependencies. So today, this is what it looks like, right? Buy, sell, breed, release. You can kind of, there's some collection aspect. But the vision is much bigger than that. And it starts with the homepage. We released this a few days ago, but the homepage is where we can capture an overview of Axie Infinity and show it to you right on the homepage. Games. We introduced a new games page. This is where we'll put all the games. Right now, there's not much going on there, but you can imagine Builders Programs games being there. Third-party games by other developers. Collections. This is an important piece that we're spending a lot of time thinking about. We want to redesign the entire collection experience. Each collection on the marketplace will have a dedicated page with dedicated analytics, dedicated activity tab. This is important for one day welcoming other collections and third-party collections into the marketplace. Here's a screenshot of what collection activity could look like, right? This is very standard in marketplaces in general, but I can go to Axies and see Axie activity. I can go to Runes and see the Runes activity. And eventually, we'll split out Axie sub-collections into their own dedicated collection page, right? Today, those rare assets and collectibles are very, very underappreciated, and we need to give them their own space on the marketplace. We're working on offers. This is a highly, highly requested feature. I get messages every day about this, and we're bringing offers. There's so many viable Axies out there that are not listed, and there's just no way to reach out to people to purchase them. We're working on offers. It's one of our top priorities. And yeah. On top of that, we want to introduce collection offers as well, right? So if I want, say, a Mystic for 7 ETH, any Mystic, I can put out a collection offer, and anyone that has a Mystic can fulfill that offer. And we can go deeper, too, right? I want a Mystic with rugged sail for X amount of ETH. Anyone who has that can fulfill it. Buy with card. This is a huge one for onboarding. We're teaming up with MoonPay. Shout out to Louis right there for MoonPay. We've partnered with MoonPay to bring the ability to make purchases on the marketplace with your credit card. So this is going to improve onboarding a lot, right? For new players, simply buy an Axie with your credit card, and you're instantly onboarded into the Ronin network. MoonPay's NFT checkout is incredible. They're the best in the industry at this. Shout outs to Louis again. Events. Vince talked about contests earlier in live ops, right? We're building a unified event system. And I'm not talking about in-person events. I'm talking about in-game live ops events, right? These are special events. We'll aggregate them all on this page. It'll be a new tab on App.axie. Things like breeding events, in-game events. And Vince talked about contests. This is going to live in App.axie. Community. We want to have a community tab right in App.axie. We would not be where we are today without our community. So it's important for us to have a dedicated page to highlight things in the community. You can imagine landing here and seeing spam streaming on Twitch within App.axie. Maybe you could see the latest winner of the art contest. Check out some developer tools, things like that. We need a space for the community within App.axie. Lunalog. This is a new thing, but it's effectively an Axie Infinity compendium, the official compendium within App.axie. I can go to learn about parts. I can go to learn about the lore, read the lore, and badges, and much more. Speaking of badges, we're building a badge system. Phil tweeted about this months ago, but we're building a badge and achievement system within App.axie. You'll be able to earn badges and complete certain quests within the Axie ecosystem and earn these awesome badges. As you accumulate more badges, these badges become your credentials, right? They'll represent your contribution to the ecosystem and the community. And this could later have some implications on onboarding and governance even. And these are the first two badges. Everyone at AxieCon physically today will get the AxieCon attendee badge. And secondly, we have a contributor badge. Paul showed this off earlier. This is our season 1 badge for contributors, fully voted on by the community. There's a form out right now for you to nominate yourself or somebody to get this badge. Esports, a huge part of our ecosystem, right? We want to build an esports portal. We're working closely with Ziori and the esports team to build an awesome portal for our esports ecosystem. So, players, tournaments, rankings, community events, official tournaments we can live there. And we'd also like to immortalize the best players in our history in a Hall of Fame. User profiles, one of the most neglected parts of the marketplace, I think. And we need to do a lot more. My vision is that people share their user profile in their Twitter bio. Today, you don't see that, right? But there's so much that we can do, right? Outside of just showing your inventory, we can have a showcase. Here, I'm showing off my 3 favorite Axies in a custom showcase. We'll show off badges, your activity, and much more. There's so much stuff to do on user profiles. So that's a lot of info. It's a huge snapshot of what we're working on. Today, it looks like our sidebar looks like that on the left, right? Just a few things. But you can imagine our sidebar in App.axie looking like that on the right. A rich experience within the web app. Yeah, and so much more. I'm honestly barely scratching the surface with App.axie. There's so much more in terms of customizing, interacting, ways to express yourself as a Lunasian that will go into App.axie. Cool. So Mavis Hub. You might be wondering, what does Mavis Hub have to do with App.axie? Well, a lot. With App.axie, we're building a platform which will become the framework for future games on Mavis Hub and the Ronin ecosystem. We're going to put App.axie into Mavis Hub. And you'll be able to do anything that you can do in the browser. With the built-in integrated Ronin wallets, you can purchase Axies, navigate through App.axie, everything, right? So essentially, Axie is the first customer of Mavis Hub. And now take App.axie and apply that amazing platform that we built to any third-party non-Axie game on Mavis Hub. It's a platform. It will be available to integrate for other games. So instead of building a Web3 platform first and then looking for games to fill it up, we've essentially built the ideal platform for Axie, right? The best NFT gaming ecosystem. And then, since it's amazing and works for us, we can apply it to other games. This is a fake game, by the way, so don't speculate. Yeah, and so all those pages that you see today on the sidebar and everything that I've talked about on App.axie, imagine those as apps in Mavis Hub, and developers can come and choose what apps they want. If they want a dedicated marketplace, they can do that. If they want an event system, they can do that. It's pick and choose. It's very modular. If you want to hear more about Mavis Hub and Ron, Alexander is having a talk tomorrow called Ready Player Ron, so check that out. He'll talk a little bit more about Mavis Hub and the vision there. That's it. I can't leave here today without shouting out my team in Vietnam and all around the world. The App.axie squad, they're incredible. They're amazing. I truly believe they're the best in Web3. And my product and design team, they're incredible. I wouldn't be here today without them. So shout out to them. Cool. Thanks, guys.